Oh, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Triple H podcast. Happy Hour Hoops back again. College basketball is over. Back to the NBA. Congratulations to Kansas, of course, for winning the Natty. Jake and Dunny back, though, on that NBA grind as the NBA season winds
Back on the
down, and it
grind.
is going to be crazy, crazy, crazy for the next couple of days, rounding out this NBA regular season. Jake, how we doing?
It's gonna be
Ready
nutty.
to talk hoops,
It's
I
gonna be
assume.
nutty. Yeah, congrats to the Kansas Jayhawks. What a game! I mean, that was such an incredible championship game. I'm very upset with myself because I put all my winnings from the Final Four weekend onto the money line of North Carolina. And I was looking at the +4, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just ride the money line. I'll send it. What an idiot. Don't ever do that. Always take
I
the
did
points.
that too. I did money line. I saw that plus sign. I liked it.
It was so close too. That second, I knew the second half run was coming. First of all, Kansas had been doing that all tournament. Like I knew it was going to come down to the wire. But if you're going to lose, just lose by 5. Don't make me feel bad about the cover. But congrats to the Jayhawks. Bill Self getting another one. It was a great game, great ending to a tournament. It was a fun tournament, weird tournament, but fun tournament. A lot of fun.
Fantastic. Yeah.
We got a good.
It really didn't disappoint,
here, though. No, yes. I saw some people say that it was not a good tournament. This was like, what are you? I thought it was great all the way through. The St. Peter's story, we got the Duke UNC. The Elite Eight weekend was very disappointing, and I think that's a lot of people look forward to the Elite Eight. That's a very fun 2 days, especially in the cities that you're in, like as the regional final host and everything. Usually feels like a big thing, but sorry, like not every game, not every round could be. 5 of 6 is still a good hit rate. I'll take that.
Yeah, I think the only gripe people are allowed to have is maybe with the Elite Eight, and then obviously there wasn't too many buzzer beaters this year, but like overall, I thought it was a great time.
That's true.
But
buzzer beaters are.
We are getting into a less exciting tournament, a newer tournament, the play-in tournament, right around the corner. And we're going to jump into some news and notes here. And what better way to start than to tell everyone that the Los Angeles Lakers and LeBron James will not be playing in that said tournament.
Yep.
The Lakers are bounced from the playoffs. Jake, are we surprised? Instant reaction.
I mean, from the beginning of the year, yeah, I'm surprised. I never would have thought that the Lakers would have missed the playoffs, but you see that the way it turned out, like the injuries and just the fit, like this team has been bad. Like we've roasted this roster more than enough here. So it's not a good roster. It wasn't a good build. I'm very surprised that they didn't end up making the playoffs, but the way it's been trending, I'm not shocked at all. It feels like they fired Go Vogel like 3 days ago. They're just like, yeah, Frank's gone at the end of the season. They weren't even eliminated yet. Like, yeah, coach is going to be gone. When those kinds of things are happening, that like they've just packed it. This team is not. And honestly, what's better for everybody's like talking when it comes to like this Lakers legacy and what this team actually is? Would it have been better like have a PR move for them? I'm just thinking of it like how it would have looked if they played the Suns in a first round series and got waxed. Like, I don't know like which part like people think higher of them for. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's just they're our mess. Magic Johnson was out there. I just started listening to Ryan Russillo before, and he's doing a very good rant about Magic Johnson coming out on all the ESPN shows yesterday and just roasting the Lakers, saying he would have done all these different things, and the things that he's saying like wouldn't even have been possible with salary cap wise and everything. Like it's just a mess there, and it's what Braun has brought on. It's what Jeannie Buss has brought on. Like they invite the drama. So I'm not surprised. I'm not really upset about it. Like I love LeBron James, but he's brought this onto himself. He knows what he's got himself into at this point. I'm interested. The off season is going to be very interesting.
It's going to be juicy
because they're going to do something. Something's going to have to happen. Who knows
something
what that
has to happen.
But something they can't just run it back. So
no, God no. Half their roster is going to be in retirement homes if they try to run it back, dude. But yeah, no, I'm pretty aligned with your thoughts there. It's funny you mentioned Magic, kind of spewing nonsense. And speaking of ex players spewing nonsense, how about like a week and a half ago when Shaq, I forget whose podcast he was on, or maybe he was just on it might have been a TNT show, but he said if the Lakers make it out of the play-in, that they would beat the Suns in the first round. Like, come on, man.
My God.
This team's not beating anyone. They didn't even make it to the play-in.
Now the Clippers, they might, but the Lakers,
yes.
We'll get it.
No, I don't know. I mean, we're exhausting this. Then the news coming out to today that Westbrook teams are already coming out interested in Westbrook. I mean, people could have guessed that he's going to be gone next year, but now it's already being said. I don't know, man. Just absolutely bonkers season for the Los Angeles Lakers. I think for me, and we don't have to spend too much time on them because I feel like we spend a great deal on the Lakers at the beginning of every podcast.
We have to talk, they're just
The thing that I am most interested in to see how it plays out is with Anthony Davis. I'm really interested, what he looks like next season. If the Lakers ponder possibly shipping him out, what kind of assets a return on Anthony Davis looks like.
It's a whole clutch spider web thing that's very interesting there, because I don't know. It's just gonna be very strange because if AD decides he's like, this is not the best place for me, that's one other thing. I can't see how he gets to that. Like in his mind, unless he really thinks their medical care is fucked up. But I feel like it's on him at this point. He came in not overweight, but bigger than he's ever been, and had injury issues again. Usually you want to get smaller when you're a big guy going later into your career. The dude hasn't been durable the whole time. And so they're going to ask questions about him, and they're not trading LeBron. No one's ever going to trade LeBron James. NBA Twitter.
But the
Lakers are not going to trade LeBron James.
Yeah, no, they're not.
I would bet everything else in my life. There's no doubt. There's no way in my mind I see that man getting traded anywhere.
He's also up for a 2-year contract extension worth $90 million. If they do so choose to do that, that would make him a Laker through 2025. You also wonder what that looks like. Does that happen?
LeBron? Is that you saying Bron?
Yeah, for LeBron. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, that
2025 LeBron is, I don't even know. He clearly needs whatever they need. It doesn't matter. They need youth is what they need.
Right.
I in that
Bronny
antithesis youth. Yes. Not just LeBron's youth, but they need energy. They need guys that have some potential. They don't need guys that have maximized their potential in the league, and LeBron needs to lift them up. He can't do that for 82 games anymore. That's the thing. It's unreasonable to expect him to do that for 82 games. That's why Anthony Davis is supposed to be there, right? AD is supposed to be the guy who picks it up. He don't do shit.
If only guys like Brandon Ingram, Jordan Clarkson, Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball,
KCP, Josh Hart, Julius Randle. That sounds like a pretty good team with LeBron James.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be bad. Huh.
All right, let's move on to this next team in LA. Yeah. The next team in LA, positive news. The Los Angeles Clippers, video surfaced last week. Kawhi walking around at the facility. Looks like he's back on the hardwood. I don't think we have a timetable yet for Kawhi, but I mean, positive things. They're also playing very well since the return of PG, which is, interesting, I guess, to say the least. What I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit on the Clippers here, Jake. What do you we know that the Lakers are out of it now, and we thought that even if they made it out of the play-in, they wouldn't really stand a chance. How about the Clippers though? Do you feel that same way if they can figure things out here? Or what's confidence level for the Clippers?
if Kawhi Leonard is back healthy, I have no doubt that that is the Phoenix Suns and or the Memphis Grizzlies should be terrified if Kawhi Leonard is coming back healthy, because this Clippers team has been scrappy all year long. They've just been depleted. Like Paul George was playing very well. They were up near closer to the 6-7 seed when George got hurt. And kind of fell after that, which is reasonable. They had other injuries going on as well. Reggie Jackson was out for an extended amount of time. Like this team has not been healthy all year. And we've always heard the rumblings of Kawhi potentially coming back around playoff time, but we don't ever hear anything about Kawhi. That was like way back. Like when he first got injured, they're like, maybe he'll be back next year playoffs. And then that we basically just kind of like been teetering around that when it's been coming up. Like, oh, is Kawhi going to come back? Is he going to come back? Bill Simmons said on his podcast the other day, Bill is usually locked in with Clippers stuff. He's had Clippers season tickets. They have rumblings on those. It's good bits of information that they think Kawhi, they're going to be full strength. That's what they think. That's his inkling, is that Kawhi is back. We saw the little video of him walking. He looked fine, no limp, chilling. Yep.
He just threw
He's
up.
Ready to go. He's ready to go. Looks ready to go to me. Would you be surprised if the play-in tournament, we get Minnesota, LA, and Kawhi Leonard is active? I'm going to say it right here. No, I'm not going to be surprised. I think Kawhi Leonard is going to play in the playoffs.
I kind of need that now. That would be a crazy game.
That throws a wrench in the West so much, because imagine if the first round like now Memphis or Phoenix is playing the Clippers. That's
I mean, it's essentially like what's going on in the Eastern Conference. It's like it's
almost
like the Nets.
exactly the same.
Yeah, it's like the Nets in the Eastern Conference. Yeah, I mean, it's super interesting. I would love it. I wonder, if they take their chances in the play-in, even if Kawhi is like close. I wonder if they just sit him for the play-in, and hopefully they went out, and then if they're ready to go for a full series, that's when they bring them back. But I'm also under the belief that Kawhi is a cyborg, as we all know, and he can really just come back whenever he wants. Yeah. So there's also that we have to take into account. But I love this Clippers team. I don't know, we don't talk about them all that much on the pod.
They made the conference finals last year. Let's not forget. Like even when Kawhi got hurt, like they still got through. This team, like if he's there and he's 80%, why is it unreasonable to think? I don't think it's unreasonable to think that they can compete with these top teams in the rest of the West. We know what Ty Lue can do too in a series. Like that man is going to be a bitch to coach against for any of these teams. None of those teams want to. I'd take them every game because they'd be underdogs, and we could just get so much value on the Clippers if Kawhi comes.
Yes,
back. I really think we could, especially in the Suns series. I think they match up really well with the Suns. I think they did last year too.
Dude, yeah. I mean, that you talk about two guys who can bother Book all game long. Like if they have PG and Kawhi both back in that series, like that's matchup problems for Phoenix, if you ask me. But yeah, I'm almost like pulling for the Clippers here. I have a hard time disliking any of the guys on this team. Terrence Mann is a Lowell, Mass native. Marcus Morris, Reggie Jackson. Like I just, I really enjoy this group. They play together. Ty Lue, how can you hate him? I'm really excited for the Clippers. I hope Kawhi is back. If not for the play-in, hopefully they can win without him. And then we see Kawhi and PG back together. That dynamic duo that we've kind of been disappointed with, but it hasn't really.
We've never really seen it work out. Like it hasn't had a chance to work out yet.
Yeah. So really, really pulling for the Clips, and hopefully we see the Clip show in the playoffs.
For sure.
What else we got here? Embiid. Is he going to grab a scoring title, Jake?
Well, yeah. If Bron's out, I think Embiid gets it, which that's insane. I mean, we're going to get into Embiid, I'm sure, in a second with the MVP. But regardless of what happens with that award, with the All-NBA team, it's been him and Jokic all year. I'll remember this NBA season because of him and Jokic.
Yeah, what a season for Embiid.
And Ja, I guess, too. That's not fair. Ja deserves a little bit.
Yeah, Ja's just been out for so long, dude. It sucks.
Yeah, it has been a while. What else we got here? Oh, Lonzo. Yeah, Lonzo Ball out for the rest of the season. Are you worried about the Bulls? Like, what do you think? The Bulls have any chance of winning a first round series, or is this team just trending downward way too much?
Dude, yeah, what are they, like 7-13, I think, since
Yeah, it's
after
been
the
pretty
All-Star
bad.
break. So I don't know, something bad. Well below 500 after the All-Star break, just not playing well at all. Levine's been banged up. DeRozan has just been one of the steadiest guys in the entire league, so none of it is his fault whatsoever. And then now we have this Lonzo news that he's shut down for the season. Currently the 6th seed. So if playoffs started today, they'd be facing the Milwaukee Bucks. To answer your question, I don't think they have a chance in that first round if that's the case. My Celtics could easily
Yeah,
fall
that's true.
to the 3 seed. We kind of just beat them by 20 last night without
Big
Rob.
game in about an hour right now. No big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah, no biggie. I'm not sweating or anything. But yeah, so no, I don't see Chicago being able to get it done in a first round series.
Yeah, that's about where I'm at too. All right, you ready to hand out some awards?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get
All
into
right,
these.
our MVP. We both agreed on our MVP, so this is easy to go with. But I
Yeah.
think we have to give love to the other players as well. Nikola Jokic,
Yep.
congratulations, MVP
Congratulations. Happy Hour Hoops MVP
again.
Nikola Jokic. You're welcome, Meerkat.
Yes, this is strictly for Meerkat, so he doesn't yell at us after the pod. So I hope he appreciates it. No, Jokic deserves it. They're still a good team. I think that's really the only argument I really see a lot of people going to is as much that the Philly, they don't even have that much of a better record than Philly. Like Philly's, they've been pretty even all year long. I don't have the standings right up pulled up next to me at the moment, but it's been pretty even all year long, regardless of where they are, even at the moment. I think Jokic has been incredible. He leads in pretty much every statistical category, like advanced statistical category too over Embiid. It's Jokic again. It's been his year. Embiid will get a nice second place there. Yeah, I don't know. Is there anybody else you were considering besides Embiid or Jokic?
I get the Devin Booker argument just because the way that the Suns have just been winning and dominating all season long haven't skipped a beat, dude. Like they've been just hovering that 1 seed all season long. I feel like everyone was waiting for the
It is true.
downfall. I even was very down on them when CP3 went down with the injury. I thought they would start to collapse a little, at least show some weaknesses. And Book has just been there to carry them every step of the way. I think he deserves recognition, but dude, I mean, you're going up against the center who's averaging 27 points, nearly 14 rebounds, and 8 assists. I
Yeah.
mean, and he's doing this. Booker's missing CP3, their second best player. Jokic is missing their second and third best player, and is still keeping this team alive. And he makes every single person around him better. So as much as I want to give Book some love, it's still Jokic for me, man.
We are in agreement there. So Nikola Jokic, MVP. I think he is gonna, and I think he's gonna be the guy. I think that he will end up being the guy there. Um, but we'll see. It's gonna be a very close vote. I'm really interested to see how it turns out. So let's cruise through some of the other awards here. The Defensive Player of the Year. This is where my brother is gonna come after you now if he's listening at the moment. He's not happy. He said he texted me right after. He's like, I'm going to war with Celtics Twitter. And so this might have just been the opening shot, but here it is. Defensive Player of the Year. Dunny selecting one
Marcus
Marcus
Smart.
Smart. I'm going with Bam Adebayo. Dunny, defend yourself here, so I can clip this and send it to Mo.
Dude, Marcus Smart. He's a Cobra. I'll
He's
defend.
a cobra.
I'll defend Smart with what he's been saying about himself. And the guards out there who have been robbed of this award for
It's
years, dude.
true.
Like
It's true.
a guard hasn't won since Gary Payton in 1996. It's a big
The
man's
glove.
award, and I think the love needs to be spread around. It's Marcus Smart explained it the other day. He was saying it's easy for for big men to fall into this. They're 7-footers. It's easier for them to block shots. It's easier for them to grab defensive rebounds. But that shouldn't be all that we're looking at. Smart, as confident as he is, whether some people believe it's overconfidence or not, he says, and I watch it on a nightly basis, he can guard 1 through 5. The Celtics switch everything. I've watched him lock down Embiid. I've watched him switch onto Jokic and strip the ball. He can put the clamps on your best ball handler. He can cover, he'll switch onto Kevin Durant and he's not going to back down. He gets in the passing lane, and his defensive plays that he makes that alter the game are winning plays. He gets
Winning
goes
time.
yeah, Ime goes into the huddle and says, Smart, we need a stop and a turnover. Smart goes out there, gets the stop, gets the turnover, usually results in a Celtics dub. That's my defensive player of the year.
I like that argument. I think it's pretty valid. Guards are very underrepresented in the DPOI category. Even wings at times. This is me trying to get LeBron more awards too. But there are a lot of wings that should have won more DPOI awards.
I agree with that.
I'm going with Bam just because he's the best defensive player I've watched all year. And they're gonna give it to a center, so I'm going with that as well. Giannis, I was very close to giving it to Giannis as well, but Bam is just so like singularly a ridiculous defender. Like every time I watch him, it literally looks like anything inside or the 3-point arc. Like you can't even like go near it without Bam being around it. It's crazy. I think he just keeps getting better on the defensive end. He's really the anchor for this Miami team, which we never really talk about, I feel like, and they're just sneaking up. They're probably going to handle and take the 1 seed. It's a crazy time we're living in with this Miami Heat team. They almost got into a brawl like 2 weeks ago. We didn't even get to talk. Like that's the one thing I was so mad at. The only event I missed, a whole Sweet 16, Elite 8. The only event I missed not being able to come right on here was to talk about the Heat getting into a fight on the sidelines. Udonis Haslem and Jimmy Butler. Something I've thought about a long time with those two very fiery individuals.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, that was so. Who knows what the Heat are going to do? So I think let's give them the awards now because they could be looking at an early exit, especially if they play the Brooklyn Nets in the first round. So Bam Adebayo, that's who I'm going with DPOI.
Okay, that Happy Hour Hoops has a split defensive player of the year. Congratulations to Marcus Smart.
We have a defensive guard and a defensive big. That's what we're going to do. Rookie of the year, Evan Mobley. I've waxed enough about Evan Mobley, so I want to hear why you picked Evan Mobley over these other very qualified people. Scotty Barnes, I think it better be Mobley and Barnes 1 and 2. I'm tired of hearing about Cade Cunningham. Cade is definitely going to be – I think Cade's going to be the best player out of this class. I really do. I've thought when we talked about Cade coming to the draft, I told you how much I loved Cade. I thought he was like the perfect prospect, everything. But he did not start balling out until January or February. This is not the second half of the year rookie award. It's the whole year. And Mobley and Barnes were literally integral players to playoff teams, potential playoff teams, I should say, when it comes to the Cavs, right away. Mobley's missing time now. It's not enough time, I think, to impact it. I think it's Mobley that for that reason. What say you? You gave Mobley a nod too.
I am giving Mobley the nod. I agree. I definitely want it to be either Mobley or Barnes. If anyone's going to grab it, Jalen Green. I respect what he's doing lately. I think he's turning
it on. That's
4 30-point games in the last month. So he's obviously showcasing his skills. He has a lot of opportunity to do that in Houston. They don't really have too much going on there in Houston, so I think it's a little easier for him. Like I think if Mobley was in that situation, he'd probably be scoring, nearly as much as Jalen Green. But anyway, back to Mobley. 15 points a game, 8 rebounds, 2.5 assists. He shoots over 50% from the field. When this Cavs team was healthy, he was a huge part of the noise that they were making at the beginning of the season. I mean, they were holding that 4 seed in the Eastern Conference for a bit, and Mobley was a gigantic part of that. He came in ready, dude. People were knocking him for being skinny. Was he going to be tough enough for the NBA? He stepped right up to the challenge. he took that 6'11" frame and used every bit of it. I just really Mobley's proven not only that he's a talent, but a winner in this league already. And I think that's why he gets Rookie of the Year for me.
I couldn't agree more. I think he's a very unique player for the league. Like he's a defensive menace. He's going to be a menace for like he doesn't even really know what he's doing yet. He's still a baby, and he's just so smart. And that's what the thing you can't
baby.
The thing you can't teach about these guys is coming in and that you can't really grasp until you see them on an NBA court is the basketball IQ. Like basketball IQ in college, you can kind of tell, but you still want to, even those high IQ guys, you want to see them put it together with the athleticism, because high IQ guys that can't run and jump in the league ain't gonna make it no matter what. Like those are the guys are gonna end up quality control coaches or something like that. So Mobley clearly had the physical talent. He clearly was a smart defender in college, but it's also like you're just a 7-foot freak dominating these kids. Like, can you do that in the league? And he has done that. So he's got a big future ahead of him. Sixth man of the year, Tyler Hero.
Sixth man like Lou Will.
The only reason
I was gonna say I feel like
Hero.
You're ripe with this, dude. Let's hear it.
Because he's basically a starter. He plays like he plays like just enough to not be considered a starter. Like they've literally gamed this. I know that they've done this to make him a sixth man so he can get this award and whatever else. He hasn't started all year. But
this was Clarkson. This was like Clarkson last year, right? Mm-hmm. Literally same exact thing.
It just bothers me. Hero is what I like. He is one of their best. It's the same thing with the Manu Ginobili. The thing throughout my whole life growing up, I was always so confused because I'm like, okay, Manu Ginobili, yes, he comes off the bench. Yes, he's in tall technicality, the sixth man. But if you're in like the whole fourth quarter and closing games and all this stuff, like you're not the sixth man on the team. You are a starter. You are a top five. You are a finisher, whatever. It's just this award just. I don't know. It's such a hard word to gauge because like what is a starter, what isn't, blah blah blah. So Hero is just like he's minus 20,000 right now to win this award. Jeez, it's not even worth putting it in any kind of bet unless you have hundreds of thousands of dollars to throw around, and then it's basically automatic. You should if you have that kind of disposable income, just put it on. You'll win something on Tyler Hero. It might be $100, but at least it's more than that because this is a given. But yeah, that's my gripe. But other than that, he's been incredible all year. I've been impressed. It's definitely been a bounce back from last year where we talked about it. We thought like the hype kind of caught up. It was a weird COVID year. Everything else, like we gave everybody a pass for that. He showed up this year. He's working. He's balling out. And if they're going to win the title or go to the NBA Finals, he's going to have some huge performances in some big moments because they need his scoring. And he's done it in big games before. So I'm very interested to see because he's going to be the guy that has to go into shootouts. Like Jimmy can't do it as much anymore. I think Lowry can pick up scoring and have those big games in the playoffs like that. But he's more of a dish it out guy anyways as well. It's really going to be Hero as the number, like if they're taking a shot at the end of the game, I guess Duncan is probably an option. And Oladipo has looked hit or miss, but he's definitely getting his feet under him. Maybe he's cruising by the end of the year. But I think Hero is the guy for them in those situations. That's asking a lot when you're going up against the Kevin Durant's potentially in the first round, the Jason Tatum's, the Joel Embiid's. It's not worried about James Harden, the Giannis's, those guys of the world. It's a lot to ask for Tyler Hero.
Yeah, it is. I mean, yeah, it is crazy that like he's just not considered a starter because, like you mentioned, down the stretch he's playing those starter minutes. He's playing those starter minutes total, but 20 points per game, whether it's a technicality or not, 20 plus points per game off the bench. Pretty incredible. The Lou Williams Award does go to Tyler Hero for Happy Hour Hoops.
That's true. He does get the Lou Williams Award. That's more than okay.
Yeah.
So I'm with it. Yeah, like that sounds good to me. So most improved, Dunny, we were split on this, and we're gonna be surprised. People are gonna be surprised on how we were split. So who did you go with here for your most improved?
Yeah, I think you and Cav fans alike should love me after this episode because I picked Mobley for Rookie of the Year, and I'm
You
picking
did.
Darius Garland for Most Improved Player. Dude, Garland, man, like I listened to you, talk about how good you thought he was last year, and I saw it in flashes. I don't watch as much Cavs as you, so I kind of took it with a grain of salt. This year, dude, he came on so strong. He is a scoring beast. We talked about how banged up the Cavs have been this entire season. Him and Mobley had like an instant connection. And Garland just does not fear anyone, man. And he's a relentless bucket. He is the reason the Cavs are in playoff contention right now. And yeah, for that, he's my most improved player.
Hey, I'm not gonna argue with anything good you say about Darius Garland. He definitely, in a lot of other years, I think is the perfect candidate for this. But from what I've seen, is apparently John Morant still for this award, which I thought he was pretty damn good last year. But I guess making a jump to 27 points per game and such is another improvement. So I'm just going with Ja because I feel like he has to win some award here. And that sounds like a good one. But I would love if it was Darius because everything you said is right. The kid, the pieces were there, and he finally put them all together. And they gave him the best pick and roll partner in the NBA in Jared Allen this year. Like that they are deadly together. And Allen came over last year at the trade deadline, and that's where the flashes really started. Was seeing them kind of figure out their chemistry, and then this year, obviously, they got to do it full time. And I think that Sexton was also very good at the end of last year and started slow, but really was just started slow shooting this year before he got hurt, but was still effective in that pick and roll with Allen. So I give Jared Allen as much of the credit. And honestly, he's somebody who should be considered for this award as well, because I know he was good last year, but he's been consistently excellent all year, which is a different case. So yeah, Cavs Nation appreciates that, Dunny, for sure. Now back to your regular scheduled Celtics homerism. Coach of the year, who do you got here?
Ime Udoka. First year with the Boston Celtics, first year head coach in general. He grabbed his 50th win last night. He has 3 games remaining. And yeah, I mean they could get as much as 53 wins in his first year. Also the biggest turnaround in NBA history, I believe. Let me get I know I have it on my phone somewhere. The just where they were around the holiday season is literally crazy. 90 days ago, the Boston Celtics were 18-21. Today they are 50-30. Ime harnessed this group. He has brought out by far the best version of both of the Jays, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, that we have seen thus far in either of their careers. Marcus Smart, he kind of gave him the keys to the offense. Smart has always played off ball, and he's said his whole career he's a point guard. Ime has let him do that. He's brought out the best in Robert Williams. He rejuvenated Al Horford's career. I just think Ime deserves all the credit. And I'm not saying that, this was a runaway. It is a bit of a homer pick for me. But I think, he's as deserving as anyone. Of course, there's other coaches that will make this award a toss-up, but I think Ime deserves it just as much as anyone this year.
I can't argue with that. I've loved the thought of Ime Udoka before the season. Even when it was going bad, I think that I still really loved him calling them out and just calling them out on their bullshit, because it was so the opposite of what had happened in the past. And then it worked. And then it was like, oh, wait, they actually just needed to listen to him and they'd become a tank and be one of the best teams in the league. So this dude clearly knows what he's doing. When they win 60 games next year, inevitably, that's when he can win his coach of the year. I'm giving it to Taylor Jenkins for the job that they've done. No one saw this coming from Memphis. I think they've seen at least the Celtics roster. I think these should be the top 2. I've seen Monty Williams as the favorite. The Suns made the finals last year. Like, this is a team that was there. I think it's an incredible job. But when I think of coach of the year, I think of looking from a year-to-year improvement. I think these are the 2 teams. Yes. I'm just going with Memphis because I was, at least personally, I was thinking maybe Memphis can be basically what the Timberwolves are this year, like another fun playoff, like lower seed team, might give some teams in the top half of the Western Conference a scare. Not the case. Not the case at all. The Memphis Grizzlies are a tank, and I think Taylor Jenkins I think his temperament is incredible. Like that team has like a great vibe around them, and I think it's because he's so loose and he's kind of like an unassuming guy, but you can tell they all respect him, like because he just knows what he's talking about and gives them that respect. I've been really impressed with him, so that's where I'm going with. But Ime would be a great choice too, because the only reason he wouldn't get this award is because his team didn't listen to his message. Like it was clear that this is what he's been preaching all year, and just getting them to buy in was the difficulty. And it had to take some time. And I think it's obviously paid dividends now.
Oh yeah.
So we've got 3 awards left. This is all Happy Hour Hoops awards. The KGMFer award, the scariest mofo in the league. The guy you just don't want to mess with in anything. I thought about going off the board here a little bit. We've talked about a lot of stars here today. I couldn't do it, and neither could you either. I went with Nikola Jokic. I mean, Markieff Morris literally sat out the season, or whichever Morris it was, because Jokic hit him so hard in the back. We know he's got his brothers who you just don't want to mess with those dudes. So Jokic is my pick. He's the best player in the league, and he might like get into a street fight with you after the game. Like he's got boys, but you got Durant.
Yeah.
I really can't argue with Durant either, though.
Yeah, dude. I also fantastic award you throwing this, and I want the people out there to know that the Celtics fan on this podcast is not the creator of this award, but I do love it. The Kevin Garnett scariest mofo in the league award, the guy that all his peers fear. To me, that's still Durant. And until he's not the baddest dude on the planet, exactly. The Durantula, the Slim Reaper, KD, number 7 on the Brooklyn Nets. You know, until that crossover pull up where he can shoot over literally anyone because he's 7 feet tall, until that's not money anymore, I don't think I can choose anyone else, man. I think Jokic is deserving of the MVP, and I get all that, but I think Durant is just so much more of a matchup problem, dude. Like you can't switch onto Kevin Durant and expect good things to happen for your defense. I think he puts up points so casually, and just the game of basketball comes so easy to him, where if you get to the point where you piss off Kevin Durant, it's over for everybody.
It is. It really.
That's
yeah,
how good he is at basketball.
That's the last person I would want to make angry on a basketball court, just from a scoring perspective. Like, I feel like you said something crazy to him in the first quarter, he'd be the guy that would just look at you like acting at shots in the corner over and over again the whole night. And it's like, oh, so you're the asshole that made
Go watch Kevin Durant at Rutgers Park, and then you tell me who you think.
That's facts. That's facts. Best under 25. We are in agreement here. Here you go, Mo. If you stayed on this long, both picking Luka Doncic. The other day on this podcast, not the other day, a couple weeks ago, picked Ja Morant over Luka Doncic. I'm changing my mind yet again. People can change their mind, folks. It's Luka. It's not even close. What they have done, the Mavs might make the finals. Can you imagine? They could be Mavs Heat. You realize how close we are to another Mavs Heat finals?
That would be
kind of
crazy.
It's kind of crazy. It's like around it. Well, how many years was it apart? It was just 5 years 10, apart. Right? So now we're 11 years apart, something like that. I don't know. It feels like those two teams, the way that they've been kind of rounding into form, could be it. Whatever. This is more about the Mavericks and how Luka has looked. Jason Kidd reformed that team. They're an incredible defensive team now. Incredible defensive team. And last year they couldn't stop anybody. And they have Luka Doncic, who can figure out every defense in the NBA. This kid's he's gonna win multiple MVPs, maybe starting next year if he can play the whole year like he's played since like January, December, because he started super slow, and you're all like, man, what's going on with Luka? Like, is this team not clicking? What's going on? And another team that just figured it out later on. So Luka, the sky's the limit for Luka, and it might start this year.
Yeah, he started slow and then just told everyone to shut up. I mean, this is Luka's spread of stats, dude. 28 points per game, 9 rebounds, and just under 9 assists a game.
That's wild.
4th in scoring, 5th in assists. He's getting up there for scariest mofo in the league.
He's close. He was under consideration.
It took every fiber of my being to not pick Tatum for this.
I thought you were going to be honest.
But
it was a setup,
I gotta show my respect. Luka has him right now. I do think that Tatum's creeping though, and Luka should be aware of that.
The playoffs are going to be very, very telling for both. A lot of opportunities for both those gentlemen to make a statement.
Tatum spreads, just real quick, 27 points, 8 rebounds, 4.4 assists. I think he's slightly better defensively, and that's the only reason I think he could creep. But right now, Luka has it.
Slightly is an understatement. He's much better defensively than Luka.
Yeah, the stats only show slightly, but he is a much better defender.
Yeah. But so that's Luka Doncic there. So the best in the world. This is different. This is the title bout. Like MVP is one thing. That's one season, whatever. But the MVP every year. Like when Russell Westbrook won MVP, no one was saying Russell Westbrook was the best. And I'm not trying to just take strays at Russ, but he's just the first example of a guy. Even when Harden won his MVP, I don't think people were like unanimous. James Harden's the best player in the league. Giannis's first MVP, where people like Giannis is the best player in the league now. Maybe some people, but not the majority of people. So it's a different thing, different conversation. And the best in the world was obvious to me. It was obvious to you too. And we're ending it on the happy note. He's been the theme of it since the beginning. Kevin Durant, he's the scariest guy in the league. He's the best in the world. I think it's simple. There's nobody that can do what he does right now. And there's the force of nature guys like Giannis and Embiid, force of nature. Jokic, Doncic, dice them up. They're like mini LeBrons, basically, whatever. There's a jaw explosive, but no one can do what Durant does.
Yeah, I'm trying to find his stats from last night. They were the Nets were down 21 points to the New York Knicks at the half, or in the first half last night. And then KD and Kyrie played the entire second half, and Kevin Durant had 32 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists, shot 50% from the field. And I know this because I had KD's rebound prop last night at 7.5. He ended with 10. He only had 2 going into the fourth quarter, and then he just started boarding up and hitting every shot. Kevin Durant, best in the world belt, book it, give it to him.
That's it. And that's where we're going to leave this podcast. Happy Hour Hoops loves Kevin Durant. Next week, we'll be getting ready for the playoffs. How about that? Yeah. And the play-in. It's time. Go. It's time to go. So, yeah, we're going to have some great coverage of the playoffs. Keep it locked here. Stay tuned to Trainwreck Sports after this, as the Crossing Swords pregame will be coming up. Buffalo Sabres at the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. Dunny, great time. Always thank you again for Donovan Holden, Absolutely. Jake Micah. Follow us at Happy Hour Hoops 1. Subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Have a great night.